The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
This is Emsolation.
Well, hello there and welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Russiano and I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen and a neurodivergent magic brain and a podcaster. Here's a sneak peek into the sealed section. Insert sneak peek. When we arrived in LA, as everyone remembers, I was stressed about being interrogated by their customs agents on arrival. Yeah. So Chella and I get to the guy and he says to us, reason for visiting the States. And I said, Beyonce. And he looked up and he said, are you Beehive? And I'm like, yeah, we're both Beehive. So we spent the 5-minute customs interview talking about Beyonce. He didn't even ask us how long we were staying. He took our little fingerprints and we were off, happy as Larry, and I wasn't taken to Guantanamo. But one member of the team that's not me nearly got taken to Guantanamo, didn't he?
Yeah, I gave the exact same response and was grilled. And he started... So he asked for all these specific things and it was quite complicated because I was going from LA to New York and I had to explain completely why. And then he said, show me your Beyonce tickets. And so I had to go into the app and find the tickets. And then at first I couldn't remember my password for the app. But I was also sitting there thinking, oh my God, if Em's been asked this, I've got the tickets. She doesn't have the tickets. How's she going to prove? What if she's in Guantanamo because I didn't find a way to get her the tickets?
All we did was talk about our outfits and his wife and how much she loved the show and when to get there to get free whiskey. He was great. My standard answer to everyone, any security, I did it when we got to Melbourne, the ladies, because they're pre-checking now in Melbourne. The whole thing's changed. And she's like, reason for visiting the US. And I said, Beyonce. And she's like, enough said. Think about supporting this female-led neurodivergent podcast. I make it all on my own with my spectacular team. And honestly, there's no better way for you to spend $3 a week. Get this entire sealed section. If you're not already a subscriber, you can just go to emsolation.supercast.com. Enjoy. You start.
Wow. Welcome to Emsolation. She's a writer, a singer, a stand-up, a podcaster, a maximalist power queen, a neurodivergent magic brain, and together with her best friend since she was 11, award-winning screenwriter Michael Lucas, she brings you this podcast every week. And this week, she's bringing it from San Francisco, California. And I am at the Down the Hill Studios in Northcote. Having said that, I have just come off a 22-hour flight. And we are both...
In business class.
Business
class. No one's... Yeah.
An upgrade. Yeah. It was amazing. It was one of the biggest thrills we've had a lot of thrills, almost too many to mention. There was a time, a sweet innocent time when we caught a distant glimpse of Fergie from Black Eyed Peas and we thought, we've peaked, the whole trip's been worth it. Little did we know what was ahead of us. Anyway, where do you even want to begin? Beyonce.
Well, I don't know. I guess from the moment, we should talk about, I don't know.
Can you believe that the last episode, it's so weird to think the last episode of this podcast was just us just having freshly booked this. And we haven't even missed a week, have we? No, my God, I had to keep checking that. Yeah. But we announced we're booking this and now I've been and come back.
Should you start with Pixar because that's the original reason you were going?
With what, sorry?
With Pixar because that's the original reason you were going.
And also I don't know anything about this, anything about what's happened.
Okay, well, let's talk about Pixar.
Yes.
And maybe we can save the juicy content for our subscribers because we want people to subscribe. Yeah. Okay.
So Pixar.
Today I visited the Disney Pixar headquarters in San Francisco. And it was very exciting. I arrived, had the obligatory photo under the sign.
Of course.
Then we went in. I had more photos with the squeaky lamp that jumps.
Yes. The logo, the famous logo.
The logo.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went in and we were treated to the world famous Disney Pixar Cafe.
Yes.
Where all the employees go. It is amazing. When I tell you the quality of just the lighting, the mood that they set, because every single person that works there is neurodivergent, and fight me. I will put every single one of those people I met today in front of a psychiatrist, and if every single one of them doesn't tick some kind of box on some kind of neurodivergent, it was amazing. When I tell you about the guy who animates and his special interest topic of birds and how him and I went down the rabbit hole about ravens. Anyway, but he found out cockatoos fly to my house and he was just beside himself. And then he asked us if you, I'm skipping ahead. So we go in and they just get everything right. It's a workplace that gives a shit about productivity.
Can I just ask, is it in San Francisco City or is it more Silicon Valley?
It only took 20 minutes from the CBD. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, right.
I think it's not as far out. I think Silicon Valley is way further out. Is that not in the San Fernando Valley? Like I think it's actually... I'm pretty sure.
Because it was initially, of course, a tech company before it was acquired by Disney. So I didn't know whether, and I said that so confidently. Is it in Silicon Valley? Like I know where that is really.
I don't know. I know it was close to the city, but I also know they call it a campus and it has its own pool. So deal with that, if you will.
Because a lot of those.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 40 minutes from San Francisco to Silicon Valley, so it sounds like it was not there.
No, it was much closer. So you go in and, yes, there's the employees were doing Tai Chi in their pavilion and there was and we went into the Great Hall. There was a merch store that the general public don't get access to. It's Disney Pixar staff. They go in there and they buy merch.
Wow.
And I bought stuff that is not available, quite frankly, exclusive merch. Can you think of anything more like crack cocaine to someone like me? Exclusive, not available to the public merch. I just said to them, hey, what if we just wipe the rest of the day and I just spend my time in the merch shop? I did get to go into the merch shop in the end and I bought everything that had the word Elio written on it.
Of course. Did you stretch to other Pixar properties? Did you get some inside out stuff or some?
I did not. Chella got an anxiety t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
So I had the world famous Disney Pixar bacon, very crispy, very crunchy. Everybody talks about it. And then I ate some more of their buffet. They were making special Elio themed coffees with cappuccino art on top of Elio's
How
face.
did you achieve that? Is it like a stencil?
Yes.
Because it was an incredible bit of art that was on your froth.
And then we got to go in and hear from the creatives, which was incredible because they're all women. All the people that produced and directed, all the top, say 3 or 4 on the call sheet in terms of crew were women. And you can tell with this movie, they let us watch about 35 minutes of the movie. Some people in the room may have already seen the entire movie. Who's to say?
Some people may be a voice talent in the movie. Who can say?
And in order for her to be a voice talent, she had to view the entire film. Just get the vibe. Yeah, so we got to see that and then we got to hear from the director and you just don't think about everything that goes into making an animation because I think a lot of us think, they just sit with an iPad, do a few clickety clicks and, press enter and it's done. But it's world building. It takes years.
Yes, it's incredibly expensive, those Pixar animated films. They're among the most expensive films, the level of detail.
Totally.
In every
And today
frame.
I understood why, because there is a team for literally every second of the film. Like one thing happens and then they've got to bring in the lighting team, the rendering team, the director's got to come and see them, make sure the voiceover artist is doing the right thing. And then they've got I didn't even think about, I can't talk a lot about the activities until May 27th. So I'll just skip over what happened after that. But we got to talk to some of the creatives. Then we went and did a bunch of really great activities, which I can't talk about yet legally. And then, that kind of brings it to a close. I took a lot of photos with, the guy we met who does all the animation. He really didn't want to talk about animating. He just wanted to talk about birds. So I sat down and we started talking. He's like, where are you from? And I said, Australia. And he said, are you sad about Steve Irwin? And I said, in general or like what?
Yeah. Well, you have that minute of silence every day to remember him still, as we all do as a nation. We stop.
I remember when I first came to the States, I used to get asked about Crocodile Dundee. So I think, at least they've brought it forward.
They have brought it forward.
And I said, yeah. I said, I like your son. And
you
goes,
objectify his son.
Yeah, like his son, Robert, and he likes snakes. So we were off to a strong start. And then he did the usual. He goes, "Oh, I love spiders. All I think about is spiders. And can I tell you about a spider that they found in Australia? The peacock spider, and it lifts its flap up, and there is a spider-shaped hole in its flap.
It literally flaps up.
I was gone for the rest of the session. Him and I were in the spider with the cape with the branding of it.
Did you say that you wrote a song called "Flap Up," an inspirational anthem?
I didn't get that far. He was delightful. So the whole trip was incredible, amazing. I am officially female co-worker A. I was the only person there today who had a voice role in the film.
Are you allowed to tell us anything about what you say? No.
No. But I do know there hasn't been an Australian cameo in a film pretty much since Nemo.
Famously, what was it? Oh, well, Barry Humphries was in that. And
he wasn't
Rove.
a cameo. He was, yeah.
He was.
Rove McManus might have been. Yeah.
He was, yes. He was a little crab.
Yes. The only other cameo they've allowed, the person got a grunt.
Oh, unfortunate.
Oh, feel free to share my drawing.
Oh, Chella did it. No, we're not allowed to. Oh, yeah, we can share the drawing. We can share the drawing.
Can you? It's in the trailer.
Chella did a drawing of here she comes. Here she comes.
Oh.
Here she comes. Look, she's got anxiety on her. She's got anxiety on her.
Amazing.
So Chella did a drawing today in front of the Disney Pixar animators, and they said to her, "Are you an artist?" And she's like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah, she is." So it's stunning.
That's great.
It's Glorden, Elio's best friend.
Okay, great.
When I tell you that this movie, and I'm going to say it, they'll be fine with me saying this, it's so beautiful. It's
Pixar.
It's a classic Pixar, pull your soul out through your nose and hand it back to you with a hug and a smile.
Wow.
It is any kid who looked up at the universe and thought, please, just let me go up there for a bit because down here is really hard. It's really good. It's so good. I cried again today, and, you know, I may have already seen it. So that is my adventures to Pixar. Elio is out June 20. I'll be able to talk more about things after May 27th and tell you about an exciting event and
play
some videos of the things I did today because I did some fun stuff that got recorded.
How exciting. Are you back tomorrow? Back to Pixar tomorrow? I thought it was a 2-day. Oh, no. Okay, so it was just today.
No,
right.
Just today. Yeah, just today. And Chella and I left and did a walking tour of San Francisco's hilly streets.
Yeah, but you've got to go see all that stuff. Full House, the Full House house.
House was so boring. Like you would think there would be at least some signage, but it was the same with the Princess Diaries school because real people live there, right? And there's some pretentious art in the bay window. I'm like, as if Uncle Joey would have had that, cut it out.
Yeah.
It just has a plaque that says, "This is a private residence. Please be respectful." I'm like, oh, fuck off. First of all, that's like a low-key flex saying we're the Full House house without saying it because no other house in that street had that please be respectful sign. And it was just very...
It's because people climb the front steps though. With the Sex and the City Carrie's apartment, they've had to like completely like rope it all off because people go right up to the door. And you can imagine if it was your private house, you don't want strangers on your doorstep taking pictures all the time.
Maybe just like whatever happened to predictability. The milkman, 80s sitcoms went so hard. Fuck. Everywhere you look, it was not exciting. So then Chella makes me hike Mount Kilimanjaro to get to the Princess Diaries High School. Again, it has the same stupid sign. "This is a private residence. Please respect our privacy." Babe, ma'am, you have a lion fountain at the front of your property, so you're asking for photos.
You have to take what comes with the territory there.
Exactly. So Genovia High School, is that what it's called in the movie?
Sure.
Whatever, her high school. We did that, and
No, she doesn't live. She goes to Genovia in number 2 to be the princess, but in number 1 she's just in San Francisco.
Oh,
yeah. It was a real. You know, one thing that's really phased out. It was such a feature of films of our youth that they would, if they just needed to invent a European country, they'd just do that. You remember like Beautician and the Beast with Fran Drescher? They just invented an Eastern European country. I think now we think, is that a bit racist to do that? I don't know. It's a bit strange.
Not you would,
you know, there was once, and I'm not even kidding, an entire ABC show called Embassy that invented a Southeast Asian country. Yes. Oh. Yeah, invented a language, just hired a lot of random Asian people. Yeah. Different times. I don't know whether you get away with Genovia now.
Different times. Well, perhaps. Either way, it was a time. So that's my day. So tell me about your triumphant return home.
Oh, amazing. I just want to say it cost me $130 to get to the airport from Manhattan. That was US. That was insane. Yeah, but they kept on, I had applied for the upgrade, but they kept on saying, oh, maybe you'll get it at the gate, with this sort of pity look. Like they say that to everyone. And so I really didn't hold out much hope. And then there was just a glorious moment when they scanned my ticket just when I'm going onto the aero bridge and it said go to counter. I was like,
stop it.
Yeah, so it happened right then and there. And I just got put there and then was brilliant. I got in there, had a beautiful dinner, many glasses of wine, took it to Mazapan, slept 8.5 hours.
Oh my God.
Woke up most of the way to New Zealand. It was incredible.
You really have become me. I'm so proud of you. You're
Thank
even
you.
in the same
Well,
t-shirt
you
as
wouldn't
me.
have the wine. You wouldn't have done the wine.
I wouldn't
probably.
have the wine.
No.
No, I'm off the wines. So, our extra subscribers have heard a night of recap of the greatest day in show business, trademark. Michael and I attending Sarah Snook's incredible Picture of Dorian Gray. But I think
And
it's
then
worth
going out to dinner and then going to Marie's Crisis. And I have to say all three experiences, 11 out of 10. Like you could not.
Yeah. So let's step regular insulators through in case they missed it, or extra people. They will want to hear us recount it. I'll bring my Chella in when it's her time to shine. So Marcella chose to go and see Sunset Boulevard with Schizlinger, and we went and saw A Picture of Dorian Gray.
I just want to say at this point already, we're even skipping out that we went to the most extraordinary exhibition at the Met beforehand that we absolutely adored. It was life-changing. But in the context of the day we had, and Chella and I went to the Museum of Broadway, also exceptional. Any other day would be the highlight of a month. Anyway.
Met was great. The Met Gala, that exhibition was, I would have worn every single item.
It was
and
incredible.
You even said, me too.
Yeah, every suit. Unbelievable. Anyway.
Prince's pirate shirt was in there. His Purple Rain fluffy. Like, I'm telling you, but not the highlight of the day.
No.
So you take the wheel. People have heard my version.
Yes.
Let's pick up from the moment you and I part. We walk into
Yes.
the Storybox Theatre. Music Box? Which one?
Yes, music box, yes.
Like Mariah Carey.
You were going to the seat and you
And
very
you said,
generously
"I'm going to the toilet."
That's right, yes. You very kindly said I was saying I'm going to get a drink. No, I went to the toilet and then, but as we parted, a few steps away, you went, I heard this, Michael. And then I followed your eye line and there was Glenn Close. Just unbelievable. Couldn't even process. Then I go to the toilet and I'm standing.
Couldn't, because just pause.
Yeah.
In what universe are you and I within spitting distance of Glenn Close? Oh my God, sidebar, did you see they announced
Yes, the show, All's Fair. Yes.
the live action? No.
Oh.
The Sunset Boulevard live action has been announced with Shazinga, and all the comments are, has somebody checked on Glenn?
Because, Glenn really wanted to make a movie of that musical for years and years and years. Yeah. I have to say, though, the character is supposed to be in her 40s. Glenn is exceptional. I don't know that she could pass for her 40s at this point. But, Schizlinger will
we
be
were so
amazing.
close to her. Just
Incredible.
marinate on that.
Yes.
And my brain knew, but it just wouldn't accept it.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
She was very clear. It was, yeah. I mean, this is a woman who we've watched her act our entire lives. Like, there has never been an era where she's dipped away or anything like that. And just, I couldn't even think what to say to her. And I was like, which role do you pick to rave about? Like, Fatal Attraction? Dangerous Liaisons? Like, which one? Damages? I don't know. There's just so many.
101 Dalmatians.
She was Cruella de Vil, for Christ's sake. Oh, my
She's
God.
my Cruella.
Yeah. Anyway, then when I'm standing there at the urinal, all of a sudden I'm getting text, and it's you saying Sarah Paulson is here too. And then it's like, we are sitting right in front of Gayle King. Like, I just couldn't believe it. This was a Sunday matinee.
I was panicked. I was worried for your heart because we've already seen Glenn Close and I'm Sarah Paulson, I've broken to you. And then when I asked the lady who's sitting in my seat to move and she turns around and it's Oprah's best friend, astronaut Gayle King, I'm like, I first thought Adrian's going to leave Michael and Michael's not going to be okay, like sitting directly in front of Oprah's best friend,
But why
astronaut
was
Gayle
she
King.
in the wrong seat? Was that what happened? Or were you going to the wrong aisle?
No, she was just resting there while other people in her row had gone out.
Gotcha.
She was waiting for them to come back so she didn't have to sit down again.
Yes.
So she was just perched in our seats.
Yeah.
It was, I wish there was a camera on me because she had her entire back to me.
Yeah.
Entire back. Right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, slow-mo. My brain's like, holy shit, it's Gayle King. What? No, it can't be. And then I went to, is Oprah sitting next to her? Like I had all the emotions.
Yeah.
Her gay nephew was with her, not Oprah.
I immediately, when I got those texts, immediately went and bought double rosés for us both because I felt like we're going to need to get through it. But then Em got flustered, put it on the ground and then lost it. But found it.
Lost it.
But didn't get to have the benefit of the glaze of the rosé. Anyway, yes, I did make it to the seat. And indeed, there was Gayle and her nephew, we think, behind us. And yeah, of course we were listening. We're hanging off every word that we could hear. They were just having a lovely day at the theatre.
They really were.
Not aware of the two psychopaths.
She said to the women next to us,
Yeah.
Hello to the other black people in the theatre.
We love black
were
people. I know that gave me life. I just loved it so much.
And I wasn't sure. I loved it, but I also didn't want to be the white person laughing at the fact that there weren't more black people. I didn't know how to play it, so I just did a little tittering. I was like, but I loved it.
Beautiful,
I lived.
Beautiful.
And then Gayle said they'd clearly been at some kind of reception together the night before. And Gayle's like, I thought last night was lovely. I just thought it was really tasteful. I loved all the decorations. And then the lady next to me says, yeah, but I'd never heard of the musical act Maxwell. And I shat my pants. And Gayle's like, yeah, no, I'm not really familiar with that music. And I turned and I said to the lady, sorry, did you just say you're not sure who Maxwell is? Like I butted in totally.
Yeah.
And she was like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I was just sitting there fuming for Maxwell, but also wanting the show to start because I wanted to hear how Gayle reacted because Sarah's our friend, more your friend. I've jumped on the coattails here, but I think she'd say we were friends. And so I was obsessed with...
She's your friend like Rob Mills is my friend, met through...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I give her home renovation tips. We're catching up and she's back. Like it's that. But, we don't call each other every day. I only call you every day. It was so great, as I was saying to you in Chella, the two people I speak to and text the most were with me, so I was barely on my phone.
Yeah,
so great.
liberated.
It was so good. So she, I was just wanting to hear her reactions to all of Sarah's bits.
The show begins, and I mean, Sarah killed, just
killed.
And because I'm obviously, apart from being her friend, I'm just a super fan, and I feel like so privileged that I've been able to see every stage of her career. But she's playing 26 characters, obviously. I've never seen her.
People who don't know, just do the radio reset again.
So Picture of Dorian Gray, it was a Sydney Theatre Company production, and it's a one-woman show. So they're performing essentially the novel of the Picture of Dorian Gray, but with the incredibly sophisticated use of cameras and screens. So there's full crew on stage. The leading actor plays 26 different characters and narrates it and is often interacting with themselves on screens. The technical achievement of it is unbelievable. And it means that Sarah never leaves the stage. It is constantly performing, constantly switching between different characters and performs everything from young 20-something men to old crotchety British maids. And I've never seen her play aged characters or anything like that. And it was just every one of them was so glorious. There's a dinner party sequence where she has... she plays 5 different characters, 6 different characters, all having dinner together. Each one is so distinct and so funny. And she just was in this, she's obviously performed it for a long time now in the UK and here. So she could read the audience. She could occasionally do a few little winky little things at the audience that they fucking ate up. She got so many bursts of applause the whole way through, including from Gayle.
I noted every joke Gayle laughed at.
Yeah.
Her wonderful gay nephew, who I'm obsessed with.
Yeah. She just blitzed it. I mean, I started crying at a certain point because I'm like, I cannot believe this. She could not have a better showcase. This is insane. No. And also, it then goes into insanity. It's very much like The Substance, the original Oscar Wilde story, and they honour that. So the characters all get pulled apart and it all goes crazy. And Sarah has to perform it to the hilt, literally pelting across the stage, screaming, crying, murders, and it is so full on. And how she manages to perform it for 2 hours, so many shows a week, and still have any kind of voice is beyond me. So massive standing ovation at the end. Like just absolutely.
Absolutely incredible. She's going to win the Tony.
She's
We're going
nominated,
to know,
yes.
officially we're going to know a Tony winner. Like it's happening. It's happening. We're basically winning our first Tony.
She's already, and also she's already got the Emmy. So she's halfway to an EGOT.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Will be.
So the show ends, standing ovation. We loved it. And Michael, our names were put on the side of stage door so that we could go backstage and see Sarah. And so we kind of left the theatre very quickly because old tiny bladder had to go wee again.
Yeah, because I had my full mega cup of rosé. You did recover
and you can't leave the theatre. There's no interval. It's 2 hours straight.
That's right.
Yeah. So I didn't get to have one last longing look at Gayle or Glenn or Sarah. We just had to leave the theatre and then go around the side door. And the man led us straight through.
Then we were met by Dave, Sarah's husband, and then he said,
Dave.
Come up here. Just completely...
No forewarning. No,
I just assumed maybe we're going to like Sarah's dressing room. I don't know what it was. And then just leads us into a green room and then sitting on the couches were in a row. Glenn Close. Wait a minute. Who was next? Rob Lowe? No, Sarah Paulson.
Gayle King was sitting first.
Closest.
Then it went Sarah Paulson. Then Rob Lowe. Then Glenn Close. And then Gayle's nephew, Cameron, who we love and befriended and now follow each other on Instagram. But all I saw was Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
It was like the angels from heaven shone a spotlight down on his perfectly tanned face.
He weirdly looked like he was related to you. That's what I kept thinking. He did look like he did. He really did.
I'll take it. But I did not clock the other women at all. It was like I can't explain. Like a spotlight appeared in the room on him and everything else went dark. And I lost my damn mind. Like mask dropped, Autism M fronted up, and I special interest dumped all over him about how much I love Parks and Rec, how it's my emotional support TV show. I love West Wing too. Do you think Chris Traeger's autistic? I think he might be. Like I just did not draw breath. Luckily, Gayle found it amusing. And when I heard her laugh at something I said, I was back in the room. And then I saw the rest of the couch.
The array of icons.
Gayle is exactly
who she is on camera. But you know that everyone says that is always the secret of incredible television success, and it's what Oprah has as well. It's what everyone says about her, is that she is the exact person that you see on camera is the exact person off, and that is why it's so authentic. And she really was. Like if you watch Gayle on Good Morning America or indeed from space, that's who she is. 100%. 100%.
You could tell she'd been to space. She had that look about her. You could tell. You tell.
The other surreal thing about this was Sarah's husband very generously gave us a proper full introduction. And so it was like they were asking questions of us. And like, it was so weird. It wasn't.
Glenn Close asked where she could see my stand-up.
Thank God, though, because I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like in terms of like, what do you ask that array of people? At one point, I think we asked Glenn Close, do you live in New York? And she was explaining how she lived in Montana. That was about the only time I remember. You asked Gayle those shoes, and they were incredible.
Yes.
They were statement shoes.
Gayle was wearing runners that had stiletto heels on them.
Yeah.
And she told me that the woman who invented Skims invented them. And so I was questioning her on if they are actually like comfortable. I don't know. She said, yes, they are very comfortable. So we chatted at length about her hunters, her heeled runners. She looked great. She looked amazing. She looked snatched.
They all looked amazing.
Sarah Paulson is so cool. She's so cool.
Sarah Paulson was being very complimentary about how just the sheer physical achievement of what Sarah's able to do on stage and everything like that. But she just kept on saying the most delightful way, I hate you. But it was so loving, and I did definitely think we'd be friends. We'd totally be friends.
We would be friends.
Not that I think we are friends now with all of them.
Oh, totally. And then I got, again, sidetracked into special interest territory about vocal massage.
Yeah, that was great. You gave Sarah Paulson, you could have changed her life. If she goes on to do all these other Broadway plays, you'll just be able to sit there and go, it's because I told her about the vocal unloading.
100%. No, she said she's going to think of me.
Yeah.
I had to remind her of my name, but that's okay. She's such a great actor. She just seamlessly said it like she'd already remembered it.
Amazing.
And then because Glenn said to me, I said, Glenn, do you mind if we have a photo? And she said, let me just check how I look. I've just had my cataracts removed. I can't see a thing. And I said, babe, you look snatched. You're glowing.
And she said,
oh, I like you. I like that. She was very, all of them were very touchy.
Touchy-feely, yes, I noticed that too.
Yeah. Gayle, not so much.
No, but you know what it is? It's New York theatre folk. Or theatre folk in general. Theatre folk are very touchy-feely.
Yeah.
But Gayle's not from that
Glenn
background.
was snuggling me and stroking my arm, and Rob did not let my forearm and hand go for a few minutes. It was quite disconcerting. I mean, I loved it, but it was like looking into the sun. It's like I didn't want to be there too long, but I didn't want to I didn't know when to let go, so I just let him lead. So in the end, we were standing there for quite some time. He was very, oh God, he's so amazing.
I was assuming through all of this because, like, you know, obviously Sarah's got to go and entertain all these icons. So I just assumed, you know, we wouldn't really get to speak to her and that would be totally okay because she must be so exhausted. But no, she kept coming to us and going, don't go, don't go, don't go. And then she goes, I've got to do something else afterwards as well, but to hang around. And then she was like, she still had to do this whole Sydney Theatre Company reception, which had to do a Q&A, but she was still taking us around, giving us tours of all the little nooks and crannies backstage, showing us her dressing room with someone had given her this beautiful plaque that had every, icon that had previously been in her dressing room. And it was like Angela Lansbury and all these people had been in her dressing room. And
by the way, Michael, we ran into Jackie Weaver.
Yeah, Jackie Weaver was at the STC thing. She thought that Em and I were a couple. And then she goes, I'm so sorry that I didn't realize you were a gay man. I'm so sorry because I love gay men. I've married several of them.
And then she invited us to stay with her in WeHo.
She goes, you can find out how to get my contacts. I know you can, but you should come and stay. I know.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, find me, come and see me. I was like, okay, Jackie. She's playing a cult leader at the moment. She's finding it a bit upsetting.
Yeah. Anyway, it was wild.
It was wild. So we were hanging around with Sarah for a bit, and then poor Chella was waiting this entire time. She'd seen Sunset Boulevard. Do you want to give a review of Sunset Boulevard quickly, or can't be bothered?
No, it's all right. You push on. I'm hungry.
Just eat.
No, it'll be loud.
Okay.
Keep going.
So, but what would you say? Shazing Art worth it, 10 out of 10, amazing, gonna win the Tony. She's coming.
She was amazing. I mean, Michael's seen it, but she was amazing. She had like what's the song called? The Jesus Christ song?
Gethsemane.
Yeah, she had like that kind of note moment.
I've come home. That one.
Yes.
At last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was really great to see her do the splits in context.
Yes.
Because I've only seen the spinning splits on the TikTok.
Yes.
You didn't tell me that because she did the splits the first time I met her. The entire interview was conducted with her and her PCD.
There is a whole context.
Can I say, no sickle feet. She's pointed. She was like excellent technique.
Oh, absolutely. She was a pussycat doll. But also what you needed to sort of know was that they have this remarkably similar looking young version of the character and there's this whole thing with her interacting and doing the same choreography. And so when you just look at a silly little thing on TikTok, it doesn't give you any of that context.
Yeah, but it worked. And I really didn't think it was going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom Francis, the male lead, his voice is insane. Excellent actor. Excellent bum. Great quads. He's really worked for it.
I believe they said the same thing in the New York Times review. It's amazing.
Do you think they'll put him in the movie? Is he a big enough name?
He is in the theatre world, but not.
We were debating today if they're going to go for like a big male lead next to her.
He's so good, though.
He's so good.
If
and
he
also
wins the Tony, maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah. He could have a screen career. He's very photogenic. I follow him on Instagram.
His side profile looks exactly like Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, he's got major Jeremy Allen White vibes for sure.
But he's way hotter than Jeremy Allen White.
But also the thing about this production,
ugly hot. He's just hot.
This production, though, there's so much screen work and everything like that that's like, well, we see what they're like on screen because they're constantly projecting in extreme close-up their faces. So
close, up your nose.
And both their faces really hold up.
Yeah.
Not a bad angle on them.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's the review. Good splits, good notes, great bum. So then we go to Taylor Swift's favourite restaurant.
Yes. via Carota down in Greenwich Village, which I've previously been to and had to put my name down and wait for literally 4 hours for them to ring. And for some reason, again, kissed on the dick. Put our name down, and then 15 minutes later, got a little text going, there's a table for 3 for you. And then I don't even know what makes it so amazing, the food there. You said butter.
Butter. They hand make the pasta too, and they put a crap load of butter and fresh like parmesan grated through it. Like, it was some of the best Italian food I've ever eaten. My God.
Everything is orgasmic. Whatever they're doing to vegetables in that place, it was just and let's just say you do pay for it too. But you pay for everything when you're over there. You really do.
Yeah.
And in this case, oh my God, it was just such delicious food.
And then we were able to roll into Marie's Crisis, which was just 2 doors up.
Our spiritual home, Chella's first time.
Chella's first time. Oh, she's rolling up for this section, this portion of the evening. Yes. So we're in there. And when you're in Marie's Crisis, it's cash only bar, and you have to have a drink in your hand, or you basically escort it out.
Yeah.
So
You're very aggressively told that. And we should say as well, it's a basement bar. There's only really capacity. I think you can only get like 40 people in there, right? Like it's tiny. Small. It's all structured around a piano with fairy lights on the roof, and there's a pianist that just belts out Broadway standards, and the whole crowd sings along. And I want to say that Chella you'd already been clearly won over by the experience, like prior to the next event that happened. Like, you were in, I could tell already, like completely content.
They played Sweeney Todd, and they got me in on that.
Yeah, Chella, it didn't matter
no
how niche they went. I don't know that there was a single song that tripped you up there, or that you were like, what's this from? You were always like, I confess I did not know those Sweeney Todd songs, so I was impressed. Yeah. And then...
I had been sitting in the corner because my legs were on fire, and I stood up and I rounded the corner, and as I was making eye contact with Michael and Chella, a group of very attractive homosexuals walked down the steps.
Wait. Because I was like looking, Mum was around the corner and I was directly looking at the door, and as Mum said, all these and it was an older crowd of gays before this, and then all these young gays start coming one by one down the stairs.
It was honestly like hot Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It was.
They were basically the size of and the constitution of a hobbit, but attractive.
Yeah.
And then there's this man, and I see his top, and it's like a threadbare cap sleeve I Love New York. So like a fancy, expensive I Love New York top.
Yeah.
And then I see his face.
And his thin little eyebrows.
And I realize it's...
No, I think we all clocked him.
No, not me.
Michael.
Yeah.
You hadn't come around the corner yet.
I clocked him the second he came down the steps. Well, I did.
Well, you were around the corner though.
No, I was standing there because I already looked at Michael's to say, let's go.
Yes.
And then they came down. Michael was looking at me. We were already making eye contact when he came down.
Okay.
But all I know was that Chella grabbed my arm and said, Michael!
For the second time that night.
I dug my nails into Michael.
Because he wasn't the most tall person, but I knew we're talking icon. Who is this? And then I saw Andrew Scott.
I was like, Michael, to your right, to your right.
Hang on. Have we said it was Andrew Scott?
Andrew Scott,
yeah?
yes. Andrew Scott, Radio Reset, Hot Priest from
Fleabag,
Fleabag, lead character of Ripley, All of Us Strangers, all those sex scenes with Paul Mescal. I mean, we could go on and on and on.
That press tour, yeah.
I believe we've discussed him on this podcast before, and I believe I've intimated the fact that I believe he would be Adrian's hall pass. Like that because Adrian seems very keen to watch every Andrew Scott performance.
So the first thing I say to you when I finally get to you is your marriage.
I know, my marriage. And I had to text him straight away. And I said, we're at Marie's Crisis. Someone just arrived, and he easily wrote back, Gaga. Thank God. Because then it did feel, it felt like, And to put it in context, the last time Adrian was there, he did get Lin-Manuel Miranda. So that was pretty good. Yeah. That was pretty hard to beat. Having said that.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, so he's across from us, and he's surrounded by his posse of young gays. Like, he's in the middle surrounded.
He's Gandalf, but hot, with hot Frodo, like all of those crew, Bilbo.
But one of them, he's clearly freshly dating.
Okay, let's not out Andrew.
No, let's remember, This is a gay club. What happens in the gay club stays in the
what
gay
happens
club.
in Marie's crisis
Okay,
stays in
fine.
Marie's crisis.
He wasn't dating anyone.
No, they were just being friendly. You know what the gays are like. They love a smooch.
But but having said, I'm just going to completely contradict myself. Also loves his Broadway clearly, and very word perfect with Little Mermaid. Pretty much word perfect with Wicked.
Yes.
But I think the highlight for me is never in my entire life did I imagine I was going to see Andrew Scott do a full-throated performance of Mein Herr from Cabaret. And I remember thinking at the time, look, if this now, my entire sexuality just becomes Andrew Scott in my mind performing Mein Herr, that's okay. I've hit mid-40s, but I felt bad for Chella because how can you recover from this? Like, where do you go? Where do you go? But you've got it for the rest of your life, that image. It was amazing.
Yeah. And then Michael, Mum had to go.
I left. I was beside myself. It was time to call in a night.
But Michael and I were like, no, this isn't enough. We can't leave now. And we were also like, what if Jonathan Groff walks in? So we were like just hedging bets. But we like slowly started making our way around.
Sending me photos, again, breaking the rules.
I know. No, but also like to begin with, we were on the opposite side of the piano, and then just subtly, song by song, it was amazing how it was just inch by inch by inch until we were quite literally in arm's reach. And in fact, Chella did grab his hand, or he grabbed her hand.
I know, he grabbed my hand.
Yeah.
Okay. We were all singing Defying Gravity, and we were all like putting our hands out. And clearly he needed someone to hold in that moment.
He did.
It's a big moment.
It's a big moment.
And then I like felt my hand be grabbed, and I looked. And I like turned to Michael. I was like, he's grabbing my hand.
It was amazing. It's a very communal experience there. There's a lot of eye contact, and we really, by the end of the night, we were right next to
You creeps.
We're creepy.
But we didn't ask him for a photo. We were respecting that he was.
You took several photos
with him. We could have asked for one with him.
It's so much better to creepily take it. It's his space.
Yeah.
We'll just do an entire podcast about what it was like. Anyway, no, we love him. We're the biggest fans. He's such an amazing actor, and it was a true highlight. It was an unbelievable for me last night of the trip. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't write about it.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap up the main episode because coming up in the sealed section is a blow-by-blow breakdown of Cowboy Carter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chella's going to go eat some dinner, and we're gonna talk about Cowboy Carter. Thank you, everybody who's been on the journey on this ridiculous trip. Thank you to Disney Pixar for having me. Elio is just the most beautiful film. I can't wait till I can legally talk about everything I know about it and all the things I've done for it. But yes, coming up in the sealed, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, all the things that went down, all of the things. Chella stashing her handbag in a bush. There was lots to do. Fergie was there.
Death
the least
Becomes
famous
Her.
person from our weekend,
Oh,
really.
yeah. You saw Death Becomes Her, and I saw Audra in Gypsy. Jesus, there's
We
so
have
much.
Lots more. Yeah. So thanks, everyone, and we'll hear everybody next in the sealed section. Bye.
Emsolation with M. Rossiano is recorded at Down the Hill Studios. Hosted by M. Rossiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by M. Rossiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fan with videos by James Henderson. Socials by Benjamin Wasley, M. Rossiano and Marcella Rossiano Barrow with assistance from Jem Evans and Isabella Hines. You'll find links to get more Emsolation on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. And thanks for listening. We can't wait to chat with you again soon.